welcome to day 3 of the Well Revolution 2.0. We are here on Facebook and Zoom, so if you are joining me live, thank you for spending this time with me. If you're catching up on the replay, thank you as well. If you're catching up on the replay in the Facebook group, please can you just hit hashtag replay in the comments. That would be awesome, so that I can see that you've watched the replay. But let's bring ourselves into this space. So the Well Revolution has been 3 days of exploring, dipping our toes into the philosophies of yoga, in particular the 8-limbed path as set out by Patanjali. And we are, over these 3 days, we have only really observed a small part of one of these 8 limbs. So the first one, which is the yama, or internal observances or abstinences, if you like, and there are 5 of them in total, and we have explored ahimsa, non-violence, on Tuesday, day 1. Yesterday we explored Ashteya, non-stealing. That was day 2, and then today we are exploring Satya, truthfulness, honesty. And what I love about the yama and the niyama in particular, and the 8 limbs in general, is they kind of are like steps or like ladders. You can't have one without first laying the groundwork. We can't have honesty without first of all having kindness, non-violence. We can't have non-stealing without first having non-violence and honesty. So they all build one on top of the other, and they are ultimately kind of like a moral compass, ethical codes to live our life by. So today is all about Satya, truthfulness, and I wanted to share with you a little excerpt from this book, the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. So where are we? Yes. With the establishment in honesty, the state of fearlessness comes. One need not be afraid of anybody and can always lead an open life. When there are no lives, the entire life becomes an open book. But this comes only with an absolutely honest mind. And when the mind becomes clear and serene, the true self reflects without disfigurement, and we realize the truth in its own original nature. And ultimately what this means is that when we are honest, there is no fear, because there is power in truthfulness, and there is integrity in truthfulness and honesty. And so we're observing that today in connection to self-reflection or self-study. And self-study, you could say, is can be attributed to another one of the limbs, which is svadhyaya. And that essentially means self-study or study through like spiritual texts, for example. This can count. And so I really love this other excerpt from the book. Again, svadhyaya, or spiritual study, means study of scriptures and also any practice that is our own personal sadhana, into which we've been initiated. Sadhana meaning practice. Regular practice becomes study. And by it, we get the vision of God or the universe. They use the word God in this text. God in Sanskrit essentially is Brahman, but it's whatever that means to you on a personal level, I think. By constant effort, we get a vision of the deity connected with our particular mantra, mantra being a sacred word. For each mantra has a deity. In other words, each name has a form. If we stick to a certain name, eventually the form will appear automatically, and it may come as a human form, a light, or a sound. And I think that's really beautiful. And ultimately what that means for me, what my understanding of that is that when we have this consistency with our personal practice, our sadhana, whether that is journaling, meditation, breath work, movement of some form, it doesn't have to be yoga, it could be a consistent workout, for example, right? Then with that consistency, we learn so much more about ourselves, the wider world, and our place in this world. And ultimately that can help us to become better versions of ourselves and our truest version of ourselves. So I'm going to guide you through some self-reflective journal prompts that I use. But first, we're going to take a moment to come into this space. We're going to build on the practices from yesterday and the day before. And that's through breathing and just taking that moment to draw inwards. So find a comfortable seated position, whether you are cross-legged on the ground or whether you're sat in a chair. Bring one hand to the heart space and one hand to the belly. Close the eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And just take a moment here, notice where the breath is landing, notice how it feels. And if you notice that there is comfort, ease, discomfort, or resistance, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, it's awareness. Don't try to alter your breath here. Simply be aware. Notice your thoughts, beliefs, and judgments around your breath today. Don't try to resist them. Remember, what we resist persists. Acknowledge and welcome in those thoughts, beliefs, and judgments. Notice them, observe them. And as you do, notice how when you welcome them in and you don't try to resist them, they stop persisting. They start to dissipate and melt away. Notice your body sat in this position, connected to the earth beneath you. Notice the connection between the palms of your hands, your heart space, and your belly. And slowly, slowly invite your inhale to deepen and your exhale to lengthen. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth with a sigh. And then pausing at the bottom of the exhale, just for a moment. Observing the space. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out with a sigh. And pause. Notice the space between. Inhale. Exhale. Pause. Breathing in. Exhale through the mouth. Pause again. And we're going to change it a little bit. So take an inhale through the nose. Pause at the top of the inhale. Notice the space. Exhale with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose. Pausing at the top of the inhale and exhale through the mouth. And take two more here. finding our way back to our natural rhythm. Noticing where it lands, how it feels. Noticing the similarities and differences to when we first started our practice. Observing those similarities and differences without judgment, without becoming attached to them, not searching for any answers, just noticing them. Noticing comfort, ease, discomfort, resistance. And consciously drawing inwards, focusing on that connection between your hand, the palm of your hand resting on your heart space. Noticing that natural rise and fall of the torso with every inhale and exhale. Consciously drawing it into the heart space just a little bit more. Connecting to the breath. And slowly bringing the palms together in front of your heart space. Start to rub the palms together. Feel that warm heat and energy build. Placing the hands over the eyes, feeling that warmth, heat, and energy resonate throughout your entire body. And keeping the eyes closed, start to draw the hands away, place them one on top of the other at your heart center. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale everything out with a sigh. And as we do, we say thank you to the Krishnamacharya and Iyengar lineage of yoga and to all of the teachers and practitioners who came before us. Bringing the hands to rest in the lap. Dropping the chin down to the chest and gently opening the eyes, setting the gaze into the palms of the hand. Allowing the blurry vision to become a little bit more focused, a little bit more detailed. And when you're ready, lifting your gaze, bringing yourself back into this space. See, just a little bit of breath work, just bringing ourselves back into the moment. It feels like you can stop time, which I love. I think that's why breathwork has become so much an integral part of my personal practice now, more so than ever before. Okay, I'm going to share with you my favorite journal prompts for that self-reflection. And these are two sets of questions that I like to ask myself in the morning and then in the evening. So the first set of questions are very much questions that I would come to in the morning, okay? I would, in an ideal world, every day practice, my yoga practice, and then I would journal. Sometimes I'm not able to get physical practice in. Sometimes, it looks a little bit more like just taking a few moments to breathe and then journaling. And sometimes it's just journaling, and that's okay. So here are 4 questions that I like to ask myself in the morning. And if you've never journaled before, or you love journaling, but you're looking for some new questions, then take a note of them, write them down, and come back to them tomorrow morning. So question number 1, what emotions are flowing through me in this moment? So what emotions are flowing through me in this moment? Now, the reason I ask myself this particular question is because I know I have a tendency to become very attached to my emotions, and especially the ones that maybe don't make me feel so good, right? I can really kind of be carried off by those feelings of perhaps sadness, jealousy, comparison, unworthiness, insecurity, feeling like I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. But then when I start to look at those emotions and kind of go, that's interesting, that emotion's starting to flow through me, suddenly it takes the power out of it. Now, I want to be really clear that I don't use this as a technique to avoid those emotions. I'm not a believer that there is such a thing as good or bad emotions. For me, they are emotions, and that's it. That helps me to deal with them better. Everyone's different, right? But when I start to look at my emotions and the behaviors that come with those emotions, I then allow myself to take a step back, especially if I know that that particular emotion isn't serving me and maybe perhaps it's actually becoming quite detrimental. I start to observe it. And in doing so, it allows me to become a little bit more critical in my thinking, if you like. And it allows me to gain more clarity. So, what emotions are flowing through me in this moment? Question number 2. What do I want today to look like? What do I want today to look like? This really helped me when I was in my corporate job and was becoming less and less happy in that role. And it really helped me to feel like I had more control over my day. And it actually helped me, as a result of feeling in more control, it helped me to go into my day feeling happier and more grateful. Question number 3. What 3 things am I grateful for? This is like such a simple and easy question. And it doesn't have to be the big things that we're grateful for. It could be the simplest of things. Beautiful blue sky, getting outside, breathing in the fresh air, having a good cup of tea, snuggling my bulldogs on the sofa. Literally, all of these things are essentially extremely low cost or free. And then the 4th question, and this one allows me to journal a little bit more freely. What is my soul trying to tell me today? What is my soul trying to tell me today? Now, you may replace the word soul with higher self. You may replace it with universe, God, source, whatever your belief system is, right? What is my soul trying to tell me today? And this one can often be the most illuminating, because often it can evoke an emotional response. You may not find it particularly helpful initially, because you may think, well, my soul's just telling me how nice I am, right? Then you have to question, do you speak to yourself with kindness on a daily basis? So listen to what your soul is trying to tell you and observe whether or not you are turning that communication into behaviors, patterns, and actions that serve you far greater. So those are the 4 questions that I like to ask myself in the morning. I don't always ask all 4 of them. Sometimes I will simply, write down the top of the page, what is my soul trying to tell me today? And that'll be it. But those are essentially the 4 key questions and variations of them that I will focus on in the morning. It may even just be writing a list of all the things I'm grateful for. And before I know it, I'm 2 pages in and there's a whole list of things. So there's 4 that you can pick and choose, cherry pick. Then in the evening, there are 5 key questions that I like to focus on. Again, maybe not all 5 in the same evening, but a variation of these. So the first one, in what ways did I show myself kindness and grace today? In what ways did I show myself kindness and grace today? Because it's very easy for us to go throughout our day and be really hard on ourselves. And, don't get me wrong, sometimes we've got to be hard on ourselves, right? Because it gives us a much needed kick up the bum. It keeps us on the straight and narrow. But I think it would be fair to say that the vast majority of us are harder to ourselves than we need to be. So take note of that. When you really start to identify the ways that you are kind to yourself, that you show yourself grace, and maybe the ways in which you don't, then you can start to create habits and form new behaviors that do give you more grace and allow you to show yourself much more kindness. Question number 2, did I extend the same kindness and grace to others? And it might be very easy for you to just go, yeah, of course I did. I was kind to everyone today. But I used to, not so much now, I'm better now. But bearing in mind, my old job used to see me driving the length and breadth of the whole country. I used to have really bad road rage. And so I started to adjust my behaviors. And I would, instead of, getting angry and swearing at people, I would shout in the car and get it out of my system, but I wouldn't direct it at anyone. So say if someone cuts me up on a roundabout, for example, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I fail miserably at this. Sometimes I get little outbursts, right? I'm human, okay? We're not perfect. But more often than not, if someone cuts me up when I'm driving, I'm just like, all right, okay. Or I might go, oh, well, that was a bit silly. But I don't get as wound up or as angry as I used to. I don't really get road rage anymore. Like I said, I'm not perfect. Sometimes little outbursts happen. But I think that's quite a good example, because a lot of us do spend time in our cars and we probably get road rage without really thinking about it. So that is one to consider. Okay, did I extend the same kindness and grace to others? And be brutally honest with yourself, and I bet you will be surprised. Question 3, what was today's lesson and how can I grow from this? So that kind of segues nicely from the second question, right? What was today's lesson? Maybe today's lesson was to chill out a bit, not get so angry about someone cutting you up, right? We've all cut someone up. People in glass houses and all that. So what was today's lesson and how can I grow from this? Question 4, what am I grateful for today? Just like we did in the morning. What am I grateful for today? All of the things that happened throughout the day that made you grateful, that gave you something to be thankful for. And it literally could be as simple as a stranger smiled at me when I walked past them on the street. Like, how often do we do that, right? Hardly ever. Do that more. And then finally, question 5, how can I make tomorrow an even better day than today? How can I take that energy from today, all of that good energy that made me feel really good inside, how can I take that into tomorrow? So I hope that you found that helpful. I hope that if you are new to journaling, I hope that these questions help you on this journey. Maybe you've been journaling for a long time, but try to bring Satya, truthfulness, into your journaling practice. Try to bring it into your yoga practice. Be honest with yourself. Does this feel good or does it not? And if it doesn't, why am I forcing myself into this shape that actually I don't like, right? Does this breathing practice feel good? Does my breath feel good? No, it doesn't. Why is that? Do I need to know the answer? Maybe not right now. Or actually, I think I know why my breath doesn't feel good today. And you know what? I know what to do now. I know how to shift that. Okay. So first of all comes awareness, then comes the inquiry, and then from that comes the answers. So I hope that you have found the last 3 days helpful, inspiring, insightful, informative. And if you have, and you would like to dive even deeper into the 8 limbs of yoga with me, then consider signing up for the 8 limbs, for the 31 days of yoga, where we explore the 8 limbs of yoga. We start on Sunday, the 1st of January, with our first pre-recorded practice. It's an introductory and preparatory video. And then on Monday, the 2nd at 9 a.m., we meet online for our opening circle. There is already 4 of you signed up, which is amazing. I'm really excited to be holding space for 4 of you already. And I hope that more of you will join. There is going to be a link, I'll share a link to the signing up page in the Facebook group. If you're watching this video on replay and it's in your email, there will be a link in the email as well. It's just £24 for the whole month. And for that, you will get 1 new practice, brand new practice every single day, so that by the end of the 31 days, you will have practiced every day, and you will have 31 beautiful new practices, a combination of breath work, yoga, the physical practice, meditation, soul workshops, journaling, online circles. And so there's a real mix here. There's something for everyone. And it's all for just £24. So for less than £1 a day, you will have access to 31 practices, 1 new practice every single day. You will also be invited into the members only app, where also everything will be uploaded as well every single day. You will also have access to the Breathe Well membership videos, the library. There's over 150 videos and counting in this, the library of the Breathe Well membership. So you have full unlimited access to that as well. So I would love to hold space for you. I would love for you to join me, or join us over in the Breathe Well membership for the next 31 days, where we start on Sunday the 1st. The doors will stay open for the first week. But after the 7th of January, the doors will close. So you have until the 7th of January to join us. But after that, the doors will close and they won't reopen for the membership again until the 29th. So a month from today. They won't open again until the 29th of January, ready for February, which I have done every year for the last couple of years, which is 28 days of dedicated breath work. And I will be sending more information on that. But again, you can sign up now for that. The early bird tickets are available. Again, it's just £24. Sign up before my prices go up, because when they go up on the 31st of January, they will be going up to £64 a month. If you join now before the 31st of January, you will lock in at that price of £24 and you will never pay a penny more. So whether you sign up simply for the 31 days of yoga and or February 2.0, or you choose to become a monthly member, you choose to become part of the Breathe Well family, If you sign up before the 31st of January, you will only pay £24 a month and you will lock in at that price. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed the last 3 days, and I hope that I will see you on the 1st of January for the 31 days of yoga. Take care, stay well. Bye.